почему-то все, я слышу, что говорят, Ислам явно фаворит. Ну, как будто Мадалена, вот...
Не, брат, мы так не считаем. Я так не считаю. Я считаю, что Мадалена самый сложный соперник в Ислам Макхачеве. Это мое мнение. Ни Чарльз, никто. В этих боях вот маленькая ошибка будет стоить всего.
We've finally got what fans have been waiting years for. Islam Makhachev is officially moving up and will look to capture a second belt in a showdown against the new champion, Della Maddalena. Many are already counting the Aussie out, but according to Islam's mentor and close friend, Khabib Nurmagomedov, JDM might just be the toughest test of Makhachev's career. So the real question is Khabib right, or is he just hyping things up? Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. One of the biggest fights of the entire year. A showdown that could shake up not one, but two divisions and open the door for a massive clash between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev. But before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button, unless you want a new version of Tony storming his way back into the title picture at 170. Let's go.
Why did you decide now was the time to move up to welterweight? I know we've talked about this for a very long time. They offered you the fight at UFC 300 with Leon Edwards. You couldn't do it at that time. Why was now the time to make this move?
I don't see some interesting fight in my division. That's why we make decision to move up, because now they have new champion and a very good fighter, Della Maddalena, and it's fight make me training every day, make me wake up early morning.
Talks about Islam moving up to 170 really started heating up after Leon Edwards pulled off the upset of the decade back in 2022, especially since both guys have spent time training at AKA.
Coach said that moment, he have very good left high kick, be careful. And when we beginning this round, I just go to the double leg take. That moment we spar with Leon Edwards. I take him down, but we have very good round with him, and you know why he's a champion right now, because he's a good striker, you know, and that moment he come to AKA improve his wrestling skills.
But ever since the shocking win by the one and only over Edwards, the chatter around Islam going to welterweight has cooled off, with both fighters making it clear they've got no interest in facing each other. Fans were left wondering if Islam would even make the jump to welterweight, with all the buzz around a potential fight with Ilia and Belal holding the belt. But Belal, being the loyal friend and teammate, chose to test out his Canelo hand against a base boxer, forgetting about the one elite weapon that brought him to the top, his cage wrestling. Few people gave JDM a real shot against the new champ, despite the age gap. After all, an aging Gilbert Burns had already tossed the Aussie around with ease. And who knows how things might have turned out if Burns hadn't decided to improve position with just a minute left on the clock. But as the saying goes, history doesn't deal in what-ifs.
Everything is changed now, and I'm gonna try to finish him, because after last fight we have many questions. Everything I will finish here. All answers is gonna be Saturday night.
After his dominant rematch win over Alex Volkanovski, Islam Makhachev found himself facing plenty of criticism. He was called a weight bully, Khabib's little brother who's too afraid to fight in his so-called real division, and a champion who carefully picks his opposition. Even the win over the Diamond didn't silence the skeptics. Instead, most of the praise went to DP, the massive underdog who nearly pulled off one of the biggest upsets of the year.
This is #1 bullshit.
At the same time, Ilia Topuria was making his meteoric rise, crashing into the UFC featherweight division like a Category 12 storm, wiping out everything in his path.
Yo no soy ni Korean Zombie, no soy el trapo ni de Jair, no soy ni el paquete de Brian Ortega, no soy ni la nariz torcida de Max Holloway, soy Ilia Topuria y lo voy a machacar en el primer asalto de una forma espectacular y al que le quepa la mínima duda que se joda.
Topuria dismantled everyone the promotion put in front of him, including 2 former kings of the division, before setting his sights on Islam, and he made a bold promise: "I'll be the one to submit him."
In a hypothetical fight against Islam, how do you see that fight going? If it goes to the ground, do you feel confident that you could out-grapple him, or would you try to keep it standing? And
My mindset is always the same. I'm always looking to achieve things that no one could. So someone could submit him, I will be the first one to submit him.
We have to check that, man.
Dana White's bald head had never shined brighter. The UFC suddenly had the chance to pit Dagestani wrestling against Georgian wrestling in a potential showdown being hyped on the level of Conor versus Khabib. That's exactly how the rivalry between Ilia and Islam was being billed. The fight felt closer than ever, with just one piece left in the puzzle: Belal Muhammad taking out the so-called lucky contender. But as we all know, things didn't go according to plan.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock him out. I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna show that I'm the best boxer in the welterweight division. I'm the best fighter in the welterweight division, and I'm gonna show my dominance again.
Fresh off his win over Rocky, the Palestinian fighter was flying high and made a bold claim: "I'll knock out JDM at his own game."
I think your boxing is underrated today?
100%. I think everything about me is underrated. People go in there and they assume stuff, but when they get into the cage with me, then they realize what it is. They realize what these hands do. They realize what this pressure does.
This is #1 bullshit.
I think every fan immediately caught the sarcasm level there. Most were expecting a level change and a takedown attempt from Belal within the opening seconds. But to everyone's surprise, Muhammad put on what can only be described as a negative fight IQ performance that night. The Aussie delivered the performance of his life. He beat Belal up from both stances. His jab was sharper than ever, and even though JDM absorbed plenty of damage himself, he ultimately put a beating on Muhammad, maintaining a strong pace for the full 25 minutes. Some called it luck. Others started spinning conspiracy theories about backroom deals with Islam's camp. But at the end of the day, winners don't get judged, and this fight gave us exactly what we were hoping for.
UFC welterweight champion Jack Della Maddalena defends his belt for the first time when he takes on former UFC. Chev was #1 ranked pound-for-pound fighter in the world in 23, 24, and 25. This is literally the definition of a super fight. That's the main event. Champion versus champion, Madison Square Garden.
Unlike Islam's previous opponents, Jack isn't that respectful, which only cranks up the hype for this fight. Maddalena has already thrown a few sharp statements at Islam, claiming he'll avenge his teammate Alex Volkanovski and reminding Makhachev just how tough their first fight was, a clear warning that he's coming prepared.
And Islam's already tweeted at you a few times, and like the most recent one, he says, "You're not Volk, I'll show you there at different levels, keep my belt clean." Do you have any response to Islam?
No, come get it. Come get it.
The hype around this fight is only heating up. fueled by the guys from 170 who are warning Islam about the potential dangers of moving up. There are even some who genuinely believe JDM could knock Makhachev out and send him back down to 155.
I feel like in my heart, though, I got the best ability to beat somebody like Islam. He couldn't take me down. He wouldn't be able to submit me. And as well, he definitely ain't going to be able to strike with me.
This is #1 bullshit.
Habib, in turn, keeps trying to show the world that JDM is a serious test for Islam, and he personally sees him as a much bigger threat than Ilia. How objective is Nurmagomedov really being here? Is he trying to hype up Islam's potential win in advance, or does he know something we don't?
Ну, мое личное мнение, во-первых, Мадалена 2 раза больше, чем Илья.
Сопоставим.
Илья. Он 2 раза больше. Он выше, больше, ноги помощнее, корпус, бокс не хуже. И грэпплинг он возится очень хорошо, если вы смотрели. Ну, для меня, если я, например, буду готовить Ислама против Илья или Маддалены, для меня больше будет волновать и волнует Мадалена.
For Islam, pretty much everything is on the line here. If he slips, he won't just lose his pound-for-pound spot. He'll have to go back to lightweight as a contender and face the most dangerous knockout artist across 2 divisions. Islam is a big favorite here, and I agree with that. I'm not counting Jack out, but stylistically, he's probably the most favorable matchup for the Dagestani, outside of Belal, of course. Maddalena isn't really known as a one-punch knockout guy. He can be taken down and controlled on the ground, and that's all Islam really needs. Sure, I'll agree with Habib that the Aussie is solid at getting back up and has skills on the ground, but there's a reason Islam once said,
Because Australia don't have wrestling.
a lot of people point to the Aussies' shaky wrestling in the Burns fight, but let's not forget JDM was injured into that one. And on the other side, Gilbert himself managed to take Hamzat down, even if just for a split second, and gave Chimaev more problems on both floors. Maddalena's been working with one of the best grapplers in the world, and the progress is obvious. Hard to argue with that.
This is #1 bullshit.
Islam has already faced big punchers like Dustin Poirier, whose right hand definitely hits as hard as Jack's, if no more. And he's dealt with Charles Oliveira, who's clearly better on the ground than Maddalena and just as tough to take down. But when you put it all together, factoring in Islam's size, JDM's weight advantage, and age, is it really that bad for Jack? We'll get the answers to these questions and more very soon inside the UFC cage at MSG in November 2025. The wait is over.